All right, guys, we are live. It is late night, 12:26 a.m. We've been getting spoiled by having cards ending earlier than that. But the reason why it's so late, and this, of course, is the Shillan and Duffy Show brought to you by Sherdog.com, is we are recapping not one, but two MMA events tonight as we had the leader of the world of MMA, the UFC Fight Night 117, Allen versus Costa, going head to head with the very first ever MVP MMA show, Rousey versus Carano. Ben, me and you have been fans of MMA for a really long time. I have heard probably thousands of people tell me, okay, I might be exaggerating thousand, but okay, within the Sherdog forums and Facebook and all this, Twitter, I've way more people have claimed to have been watching UFC 1 live. Ben, 30 years from now, when we're talking to our grandchildren, and MVP MMA is as big as the NFL, bigger than the NFL, bigger than the World Cup, bigger than the World Series, bigger than everything. We can say, Ben, that not only did we watch the first ever event, we recapped it.
We can say that. My goodness, what a world we live in.
Here in New England, like every person who's like someone's grandfather was there at Ted Williams' last game when he hit a home run, his last at bat. Okay, let's get right into it. So, guys, bear with us. This show's gonna be a lot different than we normally do. I'm not gonna do any Know Your Host question tonight. We have enough to talk about. We are not gonna get into the prelims too much of the MVP card. We're just gonna focus on the main card, and we're gonna start with the MVP card. Is that okay?
Sure.
I figure we usually start with the. Yeah, I did say. I thought Ben. I think your audio. Something's going on with your audio. Getting like a little feedback.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, not Dev saying the same thing. Okay. I don't know. We'll try to figure it out. It is like it is a little weird. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Sorry.
Check.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, other guys are saying it's good, so maybe it's just I don't know, maybe it's in here. I don't know. All right. Main event. We have. It sounds like you have your PC mic on. Is that okay? So other people are saying it's good. I don't know. Okay, we'll figure it out. Sorry about that. You know what? We're having this problem because this is the first ever MVP MMA. We're not used to it, so we're messing up. But in the main event, we had two legendary female fighters coming back, the big return. We had Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. This had a Joe Louis coming back out of retirement to fight Rocky Marciano. Maybe not that big, but it had that kind of feel to it. Ben, if you told somebody who never watched MMA and you had, I don't know how you did it, but I started with the UFC on my TV. Then I had the MVP on my laptop. When I got to the main card, I switched it and I had MVP on the TV, UFC on my laptop. If you had someone sitting there who never watched MMA the first time and you said, okay, one of these is the top MMA organization in the world and the other one is having their first ever event, you probably would have guessed the one in the warehouse was the first ever event, and the one in Inglewood, California, with celebrities, with Michael Irvin in attendance and all this, would be the leader in sports. Am I right or am I wrong?
You would absolutely be right. Like, this was stupid and pointless on so many levels. And I'm going to say right off the bat, anybody that tries to go head to head with the UFC in the UFC's own wheelhouse in the 2020s is insane. Like,
okay,
we're past that point.
Ben, we are going to disagree because I absolutely loved it. I loved MVP. I loved it.
which is fine. I'm fine when it comes along too, but it would be the equivalent of somebody saying, okay, I got a bunch of people to invest money in me. I'm going to have a company that's more popular than NASCAR in the Southern US in 10 years. It's not going to happen. You'll be able to get together one show where you get together a bunch of washed up old drivers and get the attention of the casual fan for one night, grossly overspend, and we never hear from you again. Anytime somebody really tries to go head to head with the UFC, I'd say going back to like the Elite XC days over 15 years ago, it manages to make everybody involved look worse and more embarrassing. Like, you could tell on some level that there were empty seats in Inglewood. I mean, they put LED lights on them. Like, you could tell that it was a 3/4 empty arena in Inglewood. But you know what?
That was probably they probably were overcharging. They probably had celebrity type prices, which is stupid.
They probably did. But whatever the reason, say that there were only 3,000 people in that arena meant for 22,000. That's still a lot more people than there were there for the UFC. And I'm not expecting Daniel Cormier to come up with this because he is not the most self-aware guy in the world. But on some level, you can tell that Anik and Gooden could tell they were at the lamer event of the evening. Yes. Like, you're making announcements about the next Conor McGregor fight in an empty TV studio.
Yeah, it was not Anik, it was the British guy.
Gooden,
yeah. And Felder, the reason why it, and maybe I'm a live in the moment kind of guy, and I get it, and I understand. I remember the old Affliction days when Affliction signed and they were actually signing like current top 10 guys trying to compete. This was two has-beens going at it, but in Ariel Helwani, I think he did some brilliant things today. I think he did some like, oh my God, Ariel, like, come on, dude. Like, you know better. Like, I understand you have to pump up your company, you work for him. I understand. But it's like, Ariel, you're an actual, like, follow the sport. Like, you know the ins and outs. You know the true narratives. Like, he was overselling some things.
Sure.
But one thing that I actually do agree, and I think some people will disagree with me in here, they were the two most, in my opinion, the two most important females in the history of the sport.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Ronda, without a doubt. I mean, that's not even up to debate. I won't even debate that. It's whether Gina's the second one. And Gina was the one who made, and there was people before Gina. They'll call her the pioneer, but there was people before Gina. But she was the one that it was time when somebody actually cared about a women fight, was Gina Carano. And Ronda Rousey obviously brought it to a whole different level. There was a time where Ronda Rousey was the most popular MMA fighter in the world, regardless of gender. There was, at one point there was a crossover with her and Conor, and she was a little bit before Conor. There was a time when she was the biggest star in the sport. I remember when she fought Betcha Harrell, was at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Warwick, Rhode Island, and it was packed. You couldn't find a seat. When she won by knockout, I saw bears going flying up in the air. Everybody was going crazy. So yeah, did I know that this fight was going to go exactly like this? I thought
you kind of did. You kind of did.
Yes, of course, absolutely. Did I think Gino's going to last more than 17 seconds? Yeah, I thought it was going to go like 2 minutes, and I thought Ronda was going to look really bad at times, and then eventually get the submission. But I mean, Ronda, regardless of her being the star, at one point the face of MMA, why it was a little special for Ronda coming back is not only was she the star of MMA, but it was the peak of MMA. Yeah. That window between Brock Lesnar, I'll go 4. Brock Lesnar, John Jones, Conor McGregor. Actually, I'll go 5. Anderson Silva was during that run, and Ronda Rousey. And then there was a little bit of space in between, but that 4 or 5 year window is the peak popularity of MMA.
Yes.
We're not close to that right now. There is not a star in the sport right now, even in the same atmosphere as that period. And throw George St. Pierre in there too. Another one I forgot.
There's a reason that the UFC is still scraping up the ghost of Conor McGregor when he hasn't fought in 6 years and he hasn't won in like 10.
And he's headlining International Fight Week.
Like there's a reason. Like the biggest star the UFC can get a hold of right now is what's left of Conor McGregor. It's not even that there's not another Conor or Ronda. The UFC can't even top the old Conor at this point. Like it's so bad.
Yeah, and we'll get. I don't want to go too far into the International Fight Week because I do want to actually react a little bit to that without giving away our predictions, who's going to win or anything. But so I was sold a little bit of the nostalgia of this, and I was always a Carano person. I wasn't a Carano person because of her skills. Let's be honest. But we'll take away the media member for a second and just throw on the fan, because when Gina Carano was fighting, I was just a fan. I believe you were just a fan. You can listen. Most people are guys. They gotta understand it. There's a lot of very attractive females in MMA,
but there's not a close second to Gina Carano.
Gina Carano is number one to me by far. I'm looking at her tonight. 44 years old, Vaseline on her face, hair pulled out, and I'm saying she is still an unbelievable timepiece. Like what she's my top choice by far.
Well, and there's a whole different level. She's not athlete hot. She's the only person that's ever been a serious MMA star that could have been a star based solely on her appearance without being a great athlete.
Yeah. She's the remember that tennis star? There was a tennis girl back in the day, and then people you can
Anna Kournikova.
Yeah. Was she the one she was super hot, but she was never like very ranked very high?
She was ranked number 8 at her highest.
At her highest, okay.
She got way more attention than a top 10 tennis player would get because she was a complete smoke show. Yes.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of incredibly beautiful women in MMA. I don't want to go, but Gina's my number one. So having her come back, and was it the biggest fight ever that Ronda Rousey was saying? No, like it was not the biggest. Will it do the biggest numbers? Well, yeah, maybe, because you're on Netflix compared to the UFC's doing pay-per-views at the time, and it's a little unfair to compare. But in my opinion, it's not even with there was a lot of press. There's no doubt there was a lot of press this week about it. I still didn't have any of my friends reach out to me, but people were talking at my son's wrestling team. I heard some talk about it and everything. But it's not even Ronda Rousey's biggest fight.
No.
Holly Holm was a bigger fight than this.
Yes.
The Amanda Nunes one, the comeback was probably bigger than this. The Conor McGregor, Khabib was bigger than this. Conor versus Nate, number 2, was bigger than this. Conor versus Jose Aldo was bigger than this. Conor versus Chad Mendes was probably bigger than this.
Oh, Conor versus Mendes, where Sinead O'Connor is walking him out singing live. Yeah, that's bigger than this.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir was probably bigger than this. John Jones, DC2 was probably bigger than this. And there's probably one or two other ones. Chael and Anderson Silva 2 was probably bigger than this. I don't know, maybe one or two other ones in there. But so it wasn't the biggest fight ever, but I did have it felt big for a second for me. I was sold a little bit.
I'm trying to remember the biggest fight, the last time there was this big a fight outside the UFC. Would it have been when Fedor was still a free agent? Like Fedor versus Arlovsky or Fedor versus Sylvia type thing?
Yeah, Fedor versus Sylvia. Probably.
Which would have been right around 2009, right around the same time.
Yeah, that was Affliction, right? Fedor versus Tim Sylvia was Affliction. Was it Affliction for Arlovsky too? Was Arlovsky Affliction?
Yeah, Affliction was Arlovsky.
Off the top of your head, do you remember which one? I feel like Arlovsky was after. It was Sylvia, then Arlovsky.
Yes, Arlovsky was after Sylvia.
Okay. So can I say something? Mario Ranallo, I don't know. There's like a love-hate. You either love him or you hate him. He does some wonderful things. No doubt Mario Ranallo does some wonderful things. There's one thing I hate about Mario now that Mike Goldberg actually understood. John Anik knows when to do it. He doesn't know when to shut up. When Ronda Rousey came out, he was supposed to say nothing. Listen to the crowd. Listen to the iconic. You just talked about, oh, she's coming out to her iconic song that you couldn't hear because Mario Ranallo just kept talking over it. You could barely hear her music. Like, shut up, dude. People have been waiting, whatever it's been. How long has it been since she's fought? 10 years, 12 years, something like that?
Yeah, like 10.
10 years. But waiting to hear this. You know, and she had the look. She had that mean face, the way she was walking. And it's like, dude, we're trying to get nostalgic. Shut up. Stop talking over it.
Yeah. And Morrow used to be better about that thing. He used to be better about reading the room, identifying the historic stakes of what he was commenting on, understanding that he has the chance to be remembered forever, positively or negatively, for what he says or doesn't say. Yeah, he's missing that. Like at this point, he's a bag of catchphrases. I'm glad to hear how that he's doing well as a human interest story, but really he's a walking bottle of Adderall at this point.
He's like the other guy. He's turned into, remember the guy that did all the CES shows and the LFA shows. I don't know his name if you say it. The guy who was always like, every time there's a knockout, it's good night, Irene. That guy, he always had like, he was
the Australian, the thick Australian guy.
Yeah, he always had this like funny, like, you know, his funny lines that he always do, and it just was like, it's too much. Yeah, I just Mario now, like I'm kind of over him. I just like, we need somebody else. But yeah, I think about like Sexy Elmo when he had his entrance, like probably the best entrance ever. Imagine if someone was talking over that. You know, coming out and all the people and all the, you know, so anyways, this is as far as the action. What is there to talk about in 16 seconds? She got taken down. She got punched 1 or 2 times and got on board.
It looked pretty much like
Ronda
Rousey title defense. Michael Chavello.
Michael Chavello, thank you. Yeah, it looked like you're testing a fight.
Yeah.
That said, any funny business?
No, they didn't need any funny business. There didn't
Probably
need to be any. For one thing, they didn't need to fix this. There's no outcome of this fight that's bad because they're not trying to make another fight. If they needed to come out of this with an obvious next booking for one of these women, then there's room for malfeasance. But once they started the fight, once they got them across the finish line, they made weight and they made it in the case. They could give a fuck less what happened in the fight. Like, there'd be no reason to fix this.
Yeah. Did we ever get disclosed numbers? I know that's supposed to make the most money any females got for a MMA fight. Do we have disclosed numbers yet?
Not that I've seen.
I'm sure they get bonuses from Netflix. But the way they were hugging each other and happy, and they made a shitload of money. Like Ronda Rousey was saying in the post-fight interview, she kept saying, like, you know, Gina is the only reason I'd come out. She's the only person. Like, no, she's not the only person. Like, some Benjamin Franklin, like he had more to say than a whole bunch of Benjamin Franklins.
I'm going to throw out something here that our man Dev, who is active in the chat, always love when Dev hangs. He's been hammering this, jumping up and down on this point like a trampoline for a month. And I want to give this idea its time in the sun, because right now, right after the event, is the perfect time to bring this out. So this thing has been being promoted for several months. Ronda Rousey's been front and center. Like, yeah, Gina Carano is the quote unquote face, but she's been inactive for almost 20 years. And she was never as big a talker as Ronda anyway. So Ronda's been front and center of the promotion of this thing for 3 months. Find me a point where Ronda Rousey tells you why you should watch this fight. All she's been harping on for 3 months is how bad the UFC is. Like, how they're disloyal and they have terrible business sense and Hunter's an asshole. Like, all she can go on about is how angry she is at the UFC and how bad they're screwing up. And has just never stopped once to tell us why we should watch her fight.
Yeah. And
It's
but they just couldn't get a deal done. She's mad about it. She couldn't get a deal done because it would have been even bigger if it was in the UFC.
yes.
Now, again,
Yeah,
Netflix is
and
bigger
the whole Gina's the only person I'd come out of retirement for. No. Gina's the only person whose name was sellable enough outside the UFC.
Sure. Yeah.
If the
That you
UFC
could get,
offered you
and
guaranteed,
then you would clearly win. And that you would clearly win too. That also. Because she wasn't going to take a risk.
No.
She wasn't like, she's got enough money. She's like, this is not even a risk for me. This is an absolute free, humongous payday for me. I'll do the media for a little bit. There was she'll sell a fight, and she didn't sell the fight in, like you said, like what Dev was saying, is she was selling her brand. I'm Ronda Rousey. I'm the greatness. I'm the face. I'm the biggest star the sport's ever been. So she does it in this bad guy way, very pro wrestling style. They asked her, and will she ever come back? She's like, I'm gonna have babies and all this, and I really doubt that she ever comes back. But that said, for 5 years we've been doing the show, she's getting brought up a couple of times. And how many times did I say, no way, she's never coming back? How many times when there was rumor a year or 2 years ago, I'm like, guys, shut up, she's not coming back. If you told me Gina Carano was coming back, I'd be like, that's insane. Like, that's stupid. Like there's a better chance of Royce Gracie coming back than Gina Carano. I think she should retire and never fight again, because to me, her image was damaged so much because she went from the Invincible. Think about this. I remember this like this. I remember when she beat. Was the last win Katsugano, or was that Alexis Davis?
Her last win was Zingano.
Or no?
It was definitely not Davis. Davis was one of the earlier ones. Okay, it was either Zingano.
I think it was Betch Correa. My friend Jay Martin, he's a very knowledgeable. It
was Kohea.
Yeah. Okay. So my friend Jay Martin, great guy, very funny guy, huge boxing fan, which is weird, especially for like our generation, but like really into boxing. Watches all the big fights, knows all the guys, whatever. But he likes MMA. Like MMA is number 2 to him. But he's he's Dana White, but the opposite, where Dana White likes boxing, but obviously MMA is to clear him on. I remember him calling me, and I just had like a voicemail at like 1 a.m. because he knew I was watching the fights. And he's like, this is stupid. This is unfair. She needs to be fighting guys. Like, meaning it. Like, he was the one like pumping, like, she needs to fight Floyd Mayweather. So she had this unbelievable, kind of reminded me, I want to go pro wrestling with you because, I mean, hell, Ronda Rousey was in pro wrestling. She had that Bill Goldberg, when Bill Goldberg was on the rise, coming through, just walk down to the cage, mean, fucking murder someone in like 25 seconds, doesn't get hit, and then leave. Right, she wouldn't leave, she'd talk, but she had that invincible feel to her. To now, she lost 2 in a row to 2 greats, especially Amanda Nunes. Lost 2 in a row, and then the pendulum swung the other direction, where it was, oh my God, she sucked all along. She was never good. Her boxing was always bad. Even though she just knocked out Beshkara right before that. All the people jumped off and hated on her. Will the pendulum go back? No, the pendulum's never going back to like she's on. In the MMA fans, the fair ones, and there's not many. There's definitely not many fair fans, but the fair ones will say, okay, give her a little. This is good for her. I'm glad she won, though she's a top 5 female fighter all time. They'll give her that. Okay. There's still a big portion they'll never give her that. But the people who haven't watched a MMA fight in 12, 13 years, last time they watched an MMA fight was Ronda Rousey or a Conor McGregor fight or something like that, they'll be sold.
Yeah.
And that's enough. She can go on Oprah again as a conquering hero. Or Ellen, or whatever one she was on. It was Ellen, or was it Oprah?
Can't
What
remember either.
she can go on this week if she wants to be on media. She's a darling. She goes on Jimmy Fallon or she goes on whatever, the Today Show or something. She's a star. She's the baddest girl. She's the baddest bitch on the planet again. And it's perfect for her.
Yeah. She's winning at this.
The View. Someone said The View. Yeah.
The View. There.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is perfect for her. Like, why ever come out of retirement again? Because remember she went on that book tour? It didn't go well. Remember that? Like she came off like, oh, this will go well. Because she talked a lot and she backed it up. She won in 16 seconds. She did what she always does. I mean, I asked the question, was this some funny business? And I put someone's comment, I apologize who it was, said something like, well, it's hard to tell because there was like no significant punches and it's quick, easy armbar, and the tap was very quick. But also like vintage Ronda looked like this too. Like this is what she did in her heyday. So everything's good again. Like Ellen's gonna forget that she got knocked out by Menendez. Ellen's gonna forget that she got high kicked by Holly Holm. Steve Harvey or whatever, whoever show she wants to do. She can go on the Today Show and throw an anchor on a big blue mat, and
absolutely.
But if she does come back, let's have some fun. I know I didn't tell you. Let's matchmake. You're MVP. You're Jake Paul. I'm the other guy. We're matching. We call Ronda. We're giving her a shitload of money. We're giving her $20 million. We're giving her like ridiculous, like, Patrick Mahomes money, Give me somebody.
I'm the guy that wants to salvage some kind of merit. I'm seeing if I can borrow Liz Carmouche from PFL.
Okay.
Give me someone who can actually fight, and they've actually fought before.
I'm giving her someone she actually fights. To me, there's only one name. I'm not going to the UFC. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not getting Amanda Nunes. I'm not getting Kayla Harris. I'm trying to be like your MVP. There's one name, and my man Jordan said it. It's Holly Holm. You got to do the Holly Holm fight. Now, does Ronda want that? No. Does Holly Holm want it? Absolutely. Would Holly Holm probably wreck Ronda Rousey? Yes, because Holly Holm's is she as good as she was then? No, because obviously she's older, but she's more well-rounded and seasoned. Yeah, her striking isn't as peak as it was then, but her grappling is better now.
And there's nothing she did in that fight that she probably couldn't do to Ronda now. It's not like Ronda's striking is improved.
No. People thought it was Cyborg. She's not fighting Cyborg.
She's not fighting Cyborg.
I mean, if she fights, Holly Holm is washed. That's why, exactly. But if you thought Gina Carano fight was huge, imagine a rematch against Holly Holm, how big that would be. Holly Holm has a very like similar personality to Gina Carano. Like, she's not gonna say anything. Just, she'll play the good guy side. You'd have to give Ronda insane money, 20 million, 30 million, something like that. Especially if she gets high kicked again or something like that.
Can they pull that kind of money for her? Who knows?
I don't know. Only Jake Paul knows. I'll give you one more name. More realistic. Probably doesn't get done. Probably doesn't really make sense. I just think it's someone who's popular. Like, you need a popular person. You can't just pull out anybody. Like Larissa Pacheco, she ain't fighting Larissa Pacheco. No, Pacheco murders her, but she's not fighting Larissa, but it's not worth it. How about you on a young Jacek?
I would never have thought of it because obviously Young Jacek's a straw weight and she was like a skinny one at that. Yeah. But hey, I mean, she's added 6 or 7 pounds of uncuttable weight. She is clearly down for anything. She's living her best life right now. Yeah. It is zero risk for her.
They were the champions at the same time.
They were the champs at the same time.
You go,
Young Jacek loses nothing if she goes out and gets bombarded.
Errol Hawani sells it as first time that 2 female UFC Hall of Famers will headline a card and blah blah blah. You know, that's how he'll sell it. Biggest fight on streaming, whatever. Like that's another person I'd probably call up. Gina actually, it's very unlikely Gina comes back. I mean, but she seemed like she talked about her depression and losing weight and the 100 pounds. I'm calling bullshit on 100 pounds. I know there's some pictures of her pretty chubby and everything, but 241 pounds, I don't know if she was that big. But regardless, either way, she lost a shitload of weight. She looks fantastic, beyond fantastic. She left the door open. She said, you never know anything, Ray. Find me one person. Give me one person for Gina Carano. I'll throw it in the chat because this one's hard.
You're going to need to get somebody from her generation. You pull someone like, what's her name? The Dutch grappler chick.
I don't know why you're talking about Dutch grappler chick. Gina fought her before?
I'm not sure Gina ever did. Gina only had
Oh,
so what the hell?
Megan Anderson she's so big, she'd kill her. But all right, I got the perfect name.
Marlos Kunin is the name I was thinking.
Kunin,
but
yeah, I sat next to Marlos Kunin at one event. Yeah. And why didn't you know who you were talking about? Yeah. The lovely Marlos Kunin.
Who headlined Invicta 1. They could go back and do it in Invicta. Yeah.
Call up Erica Kirk. Get that fight done. that's the fight. Or Candace Owens, maybe. I don't know. All right. Let's move on. In the co-main event, Nate Diaz, the true Errol Hawani kept saying they were true BMF, took on the king of violence, Mike Perry. Mike Perry winning by second round TKO from it's a Nate Diaz fight, so the fight got stopped by a cut. Let's talk about Mike Perry for a second.
Okay.
When you think about career turnarounds, now it's not to the scale of Charles Oliveira and the competitive nature side of it, but more of the mediocre, low-level UFC fighter to star household name, Mike Perry. It's pretty spectacular.
Good for him. He's found a niche where he can cash checks and be a relatively productive citizen. It's not Charles Oliveira. It's closer to when somebody like Jesse Taylor or War Machine, that was mostly famous for like fucking up and being an okay fighter, found a niche where he could be productive for a couple of years before all the wheels fell off the wagon. It's closer to that. Good for Mike Perry. He's always been, just to me, sort of a bit of a harmless goofball.
Yeah. So I go back to when he lost to Daniel Rodriguez. It was April 2021. So just over 5 years ago. He lost 7 out of his last 10 MMA fights. Since then, he's gone 6-0 in bare knuckle boxing, becoming the face of bare knuckle boxing. He got a huge payday boxing Jake Paul. He now has gone 1-0 in MMA since, beating it, a true legend in Nate Diaz, picking up the biggest win of his career, even if it's the ghost of Nate Diaz. This guy's a star.
He's a star, and he's found, again, it's not like he's changed. He has just found a niche where he can be Mike Perry, and it mostly works out. He's a Florida guy in the most Florida promotion ever. I guess good for him. But Mike Perry doing his thing.
And
Can I
yeah.
throw out real quick? We can argue over whether we should have known what we were getting when we looked at the box on the outside of Rousey versus Carano. It was a couple of women that had not fought in almost 10 years and almost 20 years, respectively. But more than that, we should know absolutely what we get when we book Nate Diaz to fight at this point. Because here's the thing. We saw him fight for the BMF title 6.5 years ago. We saw it in 2019. And we saw already then that his skin and his bone structure will not support a BMF style fight. But like it's as simple as that. It has nothing to do whether he's a tough guy or he's a bad motherfucker or he trains enough or anything. None of that matters. He is going to get cut and the fight's going to be effectively over in 60 seconds. Like there's no point in giving him money to be in BMF style fights. There's just none at all.
The problem is he still sells. People still look at him. He's the realest guy. He's the man. People still like that concept. They'll book him in another fight against another guy. Like I can see him fighting Paul Daly, because he had a rivalry with, the Diaz bro way back. Like they'll find somebody. They'll dig up Robbie Lawler for him. Like Lawler will come out, run that back. He's gonna avenge Lawler beating Nick. There's gonna be something. Tyron Woodley is in attendance. I can see. I know that's not a BMF style fight, but I can see that. What's Tony Ferguson doing? Isn't if you're going all in, isn't Nate versus Tony Ferguson the fight to do?
Yes.
Like that makes total sense. They'll be great on the mic. Tony will see some weird ass shit. Nate could actually win that fight. Mike Perry, if I'm booking him in a fight, keep him the hell away from Jason Jackson. If you're there's similar weight, similar weights. There, what would be a fight that makes sense? I don't know. What's Donald Cerrone doing nowadays?
I just mentioned Donald Cerrone in the chat. Like, Jake C7296 mentioning that Nate Diaz already fought Tony a few years ago, but they don't remember that.
No.
You can tell they haven't fought.
Who's perfect for MVP, even though he's under UFC contract, actually makes sense for them to get him out of his contract and actually be a star. Colby Covington. Isn't Colby Covington made for this organization?
Yes.
Like at where he's at currently at his career. I mean, he's talking about just wrestling in the RFA because UFC doesn't want to give him any big fights. Well, ask to be out of your contract. Ask to get out of your contract and go fight for MVP. Honestly, wouldn't Mike Perry versus Colby Covington just depress everything be kind of fun?
It'd be pretty. Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing.
And it's a pretty winnable fight for both guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, Colby versus Nate would be pretty fun too.
Oh man, the talking would be fun. The fight would be terrible. The fight would be so bad.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. I don't know if you knew this, but the lineal UFC heavyweight champion or baddest man on the planet, Francis Ngannou, took on Felipe Lins. I love when they always talk about the lineal because it works at heavyweight, but then if you do the other divisions, it's like the most obscure guys. If you do go through their fight finder and it's like, well, Frank Shamrock left this champion, he lost to this guy, and just keep doing it. It's like the most obscure. It's always like a wicked obscure. But it actually does work. I for a second I was like, is this really true? Because I'm like, and then I started going through it. And I'm like, oh shit, it actually does work for Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is. I was wondering who the UFC was most mad at. Like Wood Ronda, all the stuff she was saying. I know she didn't bash Dana, but she bashed Hunter and the organization and everything. Well, we know who they're still the most hated on it because as soon as the fight kicked off, like the exact second, they're like, "You ready? Ready? Fight!" Francis Ngannou taking on Felipe Lins. The UFC posted on their broadcast the International Fight Week card with Connor and everything. I'm like, yeah, what are you doing? Anyways, I thought Francis looked good.
He looked all right for a guy that had not had he's had like one real MMA fight in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, he's had almost 2 years layoff. It's been one MMA fight in 4 years. He's 39.
Mhm.
He wasn't perfect,
He wasn't perfect,
but he won big moments. It wasn't like he just caught this one punch. I'm like he almost knocked him out a couple times. He landed a huge big shot on him from on top, and then suddenly he just blasted him. And then the way he folded was exactly what you wanted. You didn't want him to fall down and kind of cover up and his punching him, but he's kind of like you wanted exactly him to face plant unconscious.
We got that.
So like if you were MVP, like you've already kind of got your money's worth with Francis Ngannou. Now will it work out? Ask PFL how that's going to work out. I was sitting there, and obviously Francis is remarkable. I mean, he's got 2 huge boxing matchups. At one point, he arguably won the heavyweight title of the world in boxing against Tyson Fury. A fight that I thought he won. But, and I know he got knocked out by the other guy. Was it which
Joshua? Anthony Joshua
knocked him out, and knocked him out bad. But could you imagine this for a second? If you had an MMA organization, say it was UFC, say it was MVP, and you had under your contract Francis Ngannou, John Jones, Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira, Cyril Gane. We are sitting around bashing the UFC's heavyweight division, like constantly how bad it was. And honestly, you can go further if you want to just go like star power. Say what you want. Josh Hogan's star.
Yeah.
Say what you want. Gable Stevenson's already a star.
Oh yeah.
So add those 2 guys in. Would that be? It's not the best division. Not the best. That's definitely because it doesn't have the overall depth. But it would have to be the most marketable division, no?
Heavyweight?
If you had those guys on the contract?
I can't think of another one that would be higher.
All right, let's do this for a second. We'll have some fun. And you know what? Throw it in the chat. Throw it in the chat too. John Jones, Tom Aspinall, and I know there's a lot of question marks. John Jones retired, Tom Aspinall, who knows what's going on. That's why we're going to have a little fun with this. Francis Ngannou, who fights once in a blue moon. And then I want you to put, because obviously we do a prediction show, and I don't want to give away your prediction. Put Gane and Pereira together. We'll put them as together. Okay? Just because they were fighting, we're going to preview that in a couple weeks. Who's the best? Give me your ranking. Rank them right now. You're saying this is the best guy on the planet. This is the second best guy. And I'm not saying that. And when I mean rankings, I don't mean like, well, this guy beat that. I mean, don't go, oh, John Jones beat Gane, so he has to be over. Like, just right now, if you had to get you to put your money on it, rank these 4. Who would win right now? And again, put Pereira and Gane together.
I'm putting Jones first.
Okay. Okay. I don't hate
that. Assuming Pereira beats Gane and there's no weirdness going on, I might actually put Pereira second.
Okay. All right.
I'm putting Ngannou third.
And Aspinall fourth. It's funny how just a little bit of time changes people's opinion. And I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but if I felt like if I asked you the same question 9 months ago, a year ago, you'd have a lot harder time just like saying Jones over Aspinall.
Yeah, probably.
And Jones has been inactive for a year, which is funny. You know what I mean? Or over a year now. All right, it's been over a year. No, it's been almost 2 years, right? He fought. Yeah, November, 2 years. Man, I have a hard time to figure out how we would put those. And that's why I'm so like, what the fuck? Why can't we have nice things? Why can't these guys fight each other? Because usually when I ask a question like this, I have like my obvious choices. Like, I don't know how it would go. And I know I put you on the spot, and you're not predicting how this, you just I kind of put you on the spot, but God, I'd do anything to watch Francis Ngannou and John Jones fight each other.
Sure. Oh my goodness, yes.
I would do anything to see Tom Aspinall and healthy Tom Aspinall fight John Jones or fight Francis Ngannou or fight. I mean, even the Surreal Gone, say what you want about that fight's a lot more exciting than that, especially if Surreal Gone beats Alex Pereira. He beats Alex Pereira. Holy shit. But now Alex Pereira does what he does, and he knocks out, he starches, say he starches him first round, second round, does what he did to like Yuri Prohaska. Oh my God, take my money.
Yeah.
So obviously John Jones was in attendance. They kind of, Errol doing his thing and setting it up. John Jones it was so weird. He had like such a politician answer, but I don't know. He started talking about, well, I got to get on my UFC contract. I want to get on my UFC contract. He's saying this. But then he said, well, I got arthritis, so I'm pretty sure I'm not fighting again. It's like just give a straight answer, John. Like, if you're really retired, just say, dude, I'm, someone called out DC right now, he'd laugh at you like, I'm retired. Does this make if John Jones, say he does get out of his contract, say he does fight, he was a year ago or 2 years ago was saying, I want to fight Alex Pereira. I don't want to fight anybody else but Alex Pereira. I don't want Tom Aspinall. I want to fight Alex Pereira. He said it a million times. Alex Pereira becomes a UFC champion. Does that make John Jones look bad? Because you're under contract with the UFC, and the heavyweight champion is the guy that you keep saying you want to fight.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Ultimately, a lot of this has to come back on Jones. Jones, for at least 10 years now, has been one of the only people that can dictate any terms to the UFC. And he's ultimately a guy that could have fought anybody he wanted within shouting distance of his weight over the last 10 years.
Sure.
There's nobody that the UFC wouldn't have made the fight happen if Jones wanted it to happen. Like, so if you tell me Fighter X versus John Jones didn't happen between 2016 and 2026, some of the blame goes to John Jones.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. And people are going to hate me saying this about this one guy because he doesn't have the same negativity, that John Jones has. But George St. Pierre is 100% to blame for not getting George St. Pierre versus Anderson Silva.
Yeah. Well, sure. Yeah. It was him being averse to risk.
Yep. Now, again, Anderson Silva wasn't calling him out. He wasn't saying, come on, George, come on up. You're the best. I'm the best. Let's find out who the best is. So yeah, I don't give it all to Anderson Silva, but yeah. Which fight? Okay, so you ranked him. You can only book one fight. God comes down.
Jones Pereira is the fight that I am so pissed that
that's the one.
Probably never going to get. Jones versus Pereira.
We are in agreement. That's the one. The length of those two guys. Is that the easiest fight for Jones, though?
Part of me says so, but you know what?
Because there's obviously the takedown that's there. It's been a long time since we've seen Pereira taken down and held down, but it's there. Who would more likely knock out Jones? Francis or Alex?
Francis.
I mean, it's hard to say because we haven't seen Alex at heavyweight yet. We haven't seen his power, how it translates. So obviously we're guessing, but my man Surreal God could run all that. It seems like if Francis Ngannou does fight again, and I always want to say if he does fight again because we never know with this guy, if he fights MMA, it'd be Robles to Spain. Okay, okay, whatever. It feels dirty now mentioning that fight.
Oh my goodness!
After all the fights we just talked about. All right, let's move on. In probably the best fight on paper, KSW superstar Saladin Parnasse took on Kenneth Cross, and Saladin just absolutely looked incredible. Looked exactly like people who knew him in KSW. It was his introduction to the West Coast, and holy shit. Did you get to see it? I know you were doing UFC at the same time. Did you get to catch any of that fight?
Only the highlight.
Okay.
But I mean, he's a monster. He's been one of the best guys in his weight range in Europe for 5 or 6 years. He's beaten several guys that are in the UFC right now. Like Saladin Parnasse is the real deal. He's very, very good.
Yeah, he looked fast. His takedown defense was awesome. He even like reversed in positions, got the mount, worked the body. Advancing on the ground, like the dude looked sensational. It was supposed to be the best fight on paper, and it just instantly was like, no, this is a mismatch. This is the reason why he's a huge favorite. And I just kept saying like, Parnasse should be fighting top guys in the UFC. Like he should be fighting. His next fight should be against Armin Sarukian.
Yeah,
like it's a waste if he's fighting these guys. It's a waste of talent. And before that, Junior Dos Santos took on Robelis to Spain. We knew this was exactly how it was going. We knew.
No, I didn't. What I know now is that Junior Dos Santos doesn't even watch that much tape.
Oh, even if he did, he's gonna box.
Someone could have just told JDS, dude, turn around and fart on this guy and he will fall over.
Well, at one point he had a very ugly attempt at a takedown, but he was already like punch drunk at that point. It was one of those moments when he went down and back, and it wasn't just like he got knocked out. It was like, oh man, someone on Twitter said he got folded like a lawn chair. It's those like there's so many things I love about MMA. Like these are the things I hate about MMA. It's like,
yes,
like why do we have former heavyweight champions like hanging on this long and just getting destroyed? And the thing is, like, I think you kind of said it. I didn't learn anything about Despain. Like everything I knew about him, I still know. Like I know he can hit hard, and I know that he sucks on the ground. And has he improved it? I have no idea.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. They pretty much booking him to go against Francis Ngannou. We're not gonna do preview shows for the MMA cards unless they get really. I mean, this is pretty big today, but unless it gets really, really like big and just like legit, like it's not just freak show fights, and we start getting some really good actual competition. Francis Ngannou just takes him down. Say what you want about Francis. He's not stupid. It's what he did to Pereira. Ferreira. We expected him to like slug it out. And he just like, no, I'm just gonna take him down and bash him with ground and pound. And
he did it to Gon, who's not really a knockout artist on the feet. He was just like, this is easier.
Yeah. Say what you want. We always talk about his power, but he's an intelligent fighter too. Real quick, I'm just gonna summarize like some of the highlights of the prelims real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Keep Jason Jackson away from any legit stars you have, because he's gonna these has-been guys that you can still like. They get Diaz's, your Perry's. He's gonna smash them. It's gonna be embarrassing.
Yep.
Nemo Fasil, that fight that he was on being 100. That was fun. Like he was in trouble at first, and then he weathered the storm and just put on a clinic the rest of the way. He was fun. But to me, the highlight of the prelims, Moraes versus Nakuda, there was
Dude.
controversy, but the fight itself was awesome.
Dude, if we had gotten Moraes versus Muhammad Mokaev, that would have been the fight of the night, which is what it was supposed to be.
Well,
Muhammad Mokaev fell off. No,
I'll tell you right now,
Nakuda looked
Nakuda
incredible.
looked awesome.
Yeah.
And I had it 1-1 heading into the third. I had him winning with 10 seconds left. I'm like, he's about to beat him. And then Moraes throws a flying knee that hits him in the chest, makes him fall, and takes his back and puts in a rear naked choke. And the time expired, and I go, man, was that enough? Because he was getting kind of tagged a little bit by Nakuda. And I'm like, man, he was in so deep. Like, is that enough to win the scorecard? I'm like, I'm torn. I'm like, I think I might give it Moraes, but it was super close. And then when he let go of the choke, Nakuda went out cold. But the controversy was the buzzer rang and he held on longer, and then he went out, and then Herb Dean, being Herb Dean, who's terrible at everything, and reeled it as a technical submission win. I don't know if we ever got scorecards. I don't know who was going to win, regardless if it was going to go to scorecards. I don't like it's kind of hard to to enter the scorecards, but anyways, anything else you want to talk about the prelims? I know you were on scoring duty for the UFC, so I know you're probably pretty busy. Let's move over to the UFC. We're an hour in already. Honestly, not too much to talk about the UFC. We're probably gonna breeze through this. Main event: Arnold Allen took on
a fucking terrible card.
Melky Gazelle, Costa, Allen. He won by unanimous decision. I feel bad for these two guys, and what I mean by that is, on paper, it was a good fight, and it was a very entertaining fight. Like, it was, Allen clearly won, but there was both guys had moments. Both guys looked good. It was a big step up in competition, Costa, and you could see it, but like, he didn't look terrible. Oh. But these poor guys got no attention. I even forgot this card was going on.
No, they didn't even get attention from the desk. The desk was busy talking about everything UFC related except for the fight that was happening.
Yeah. Did you give Costa any rounds?
Yeah, I gave Costa the first round, and I could have given him the fourth.
Okay,
but
so you had it closer than I did.
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, if I had scored this fight 48-47, I would have said it didn't feel that close.
Sure. What stood out to me was they both landed hard shots, but Allen wasn't reacting the same way that Costa was.
Yeah.
Every time Allen landed a power shot, it looked like Costa was getting knocked out. What when you were watching actually, what stood out to you?
It was interesting because the first round was kind of wild. I expected it to settle into a very pattern-based fight where it was Allen's boxing against Costa's kind of arsenal of kicks. And obviously they're well-rounded guys. They throw in different things, but the real balance from one moment to the next was just going to be, does Allen try to actually check the southpaw kick to the front lead leg, or is he just going to try to dissuade him from throwing that kick by countering, which is what he usually does? And he decided to just keep countering the kick. And middle of the second round, I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. It was just a matter of seeing who was going to blink first. And ultimately, it was Costa who blinked first. He was like, I really don't like what I'm getting back when I throw these kicks. And he never stopped throwing them entirely, but they stopped being what his game plan was built around. Because ultimately, halfway through the second round, I was like, okay, assuming nobody gets knocked out, the guy that needs to answer a question here is Allen needs to answer a question about what he's going to do about these leg kicks. Otherwise, he's not going to be in good shape in the fourth round. But no, he buckled down. He hit him with clean counters 3 or 4 times in the second round, and the leg kicks never fully went away, but they stopped being the focus of the fight.
Yeah, he was forcing him back. He was forcing. I mean, Costa kept backing up for majority of the fight. He was crowding the kick grab punch, but he got a reason why the kicks started becoming ineffective is Allen got inside of him, and he just started landing that left hand, clean left hand over. I was like, man, Costa, you gotta stop moving your head more, dude. he's like he's so offensive minded. You got to have a little bit of deep. I mean, I love his offense, and that's always been kind of his game. He's on the gas, going, and he still had like really good volume. But I mean, it just Allen was landing clean shots because of the lack of defense from Costa. And I mean, there's not a lot to say. This Allen just showed his levels. Like this was a big step up in competition from Costa, and he was not this level yet. Do I feel like this will make Costa better? Yeah, I do. I do think it's gonna be one of those ones where like you go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I got to make these changes to be a top level guy. I think for the UFC, this was not good for them. Like Costa, having him become like a ranked guy would be much better than the Allen who we've kind of seen and we kind of know where he's at. And he's very underrated, but if you beat Arnold Allen, you're really good. So he's kind of like that gatekeeper, which I hate saying for the top of the division. But
and there's no interest in seeing Allen fight Holloway again, or seeing Allen fight Volkanovski, or seeing Allen fight. Yeah, it's easier to match make the 29-year-old guy who's more of an explosive finisher and has a physical hook that people can remember for sure.
Yeah. Boxing. Oh, sorry, wrong. Boxing guy saying he thought Costa lost every round. I did too. I scored a 50-45 Allen. Yep. There was one, I can't remember what it was. I think, what did you say, the fourth round, where I thought that it was close where you could give it Costa, but yeah, I had it 5-0 for Allen. What are we doing for matchmaking? I see some people saying give Costa Pitbull, give Costa Pico. I'm giving Pat Sabatini. 17 deserves a name. Or
I like that just fine. Those are the kind of names that I had in mind.
Okay. Allen to me is hard to matchmake because he's fought the top guys and that. I'm trying to like, what would be a marketable fight? What's a point you could sell? Stick him in England and put him against an Englishman. Put him against a Laurel Murphy. All England battle.
I mean, I liked the idea of putting him in England. I was going to say put him in England against a guy where the crowd will like it if he wins, like put him against Aljamain Sterling or something.
I think Aljamain's past that. I don't think he's going to take that far. I think Allen's sitting out for a title shot.
Okay. Well, in that case, I like yours just fine. Allen versus Murphy, the UFC gets to get rid of one of them.
No, I'm not saying Sterling deserves a title shot. I mean, that should be Evloev, but he might even just sit out to get the winner of Volkanovski versus Evloev. And again, it's also good to sit out when Evloev is the number one contender because one, the UFC doesn't like him, and two, injuries have not been good. Before we good, what were you gonna say?
He's just a tough guy to look good against.
Yeah. Before we move on, obviously we're not gonna get predictions, but I want you to react to the UFC announcing. It was about this time that the UFC announced International Fight Week. Conor McGregor is headlining. Okay, I understand when Conor comes back, he has to headline. Gets Max Holloway. What's your reaction without giving away your pick?
I was surprised. I was surprised that that's what they found. And without giving any prediction for their actual fight, it certainly confirms for me that the BMF title is dead.
Oh, absolutely. And then I say to myself, why would the UFC do that matchup? Like, you're rewarding Max Holloway with the big matchup after he just looked terrible in the BMF title. Again, that's not Conor's game, and I'm not going to give away my pick, but I'm going to make a pretty.
Ironically, the only time Conor ever beat somebody with his wrestling in the UFC, it was Max Holloway.
I was there. It was in Boston. It was a prelim. I use it all the time. I say to people like, "Oh, people are like, I'm not going to watch the prelims." I'm like, "Dude, I watched Max Holloway and Conor McGregor fight in a prelim." So, and I said that fight would headline a huge card now and a rematch, and here it is. It's at 170.
Yep,
which benefits Conor. I mean, obviously he's fought there before. There's a lot of negatives on Conor's side. The other thing is, if Conor wins, he's already beaten him. I'm
Yes.
surprised Conor took that fight.
I like that you bring this up because whatever you may think about Conor McGregor when you're watching and listening to me talk in 2026, in his prime, he was always a big game hunter. He would talk mad shit about Khabib because he was not afraid of Khabib at all.
No,
Like, you never get a case of Conor ducking anybody. Conor wanted all the smoke with all the dudes. Like,
Jose Aldo,
it was very admirable.
Absolutely.
Admirable by the standards of people talking horrible shit about other people's families, but you get what I mean.
Sure, yeah. Like, he wanted to fight. He didn't. He went after Khabib, but it was when I was gonna say when it was not popular to it. It was never popular to fight him. Even now, it might not be popular. Yeah. If I'm him and I'm taking a fight at 170 in a big matchup, why not just do Charles Oliveira? Say, oh, Charles, you're the baddest motherfucker. All right, let's do it. It's a different matchup. It's a bigger win.
You're saying why wouldn't Conor? Yeah, agreed.
No, getting taken down and submitted is a huge reason. And I'm not gonna give away my pick, but if I'm the UFC, I would have somehow got Nate Diaz. I would have done a trilogy fight with Nate. It makes so much more sense. You get the trilogy fight. You give Conor a much easier win, than beating Max Holloway. It's a bigger name. Still, all these years later. Yeah, I don't know. The rest of let's and I know people are gonna have a lot of and again, I know Nate is with the MVP and it's different, but I'm saying, like, you've had years for planning on Conor's return. Let's go over some of these fights real quick. Co-main event, a rumored fight we've been getting a lot. Benoit Saint Denis versus Paddy Pimblett. So how about that fight? How about Conor versus Paddy? That makes more sense than Anyways, but what's your general thoughts on just Saint Denis versus Paddy?
I love the fight. Like, it should be a really fun fight. It's without sitting down to watch tape on the guys, I'm not sure whom I'm going to be picking, which, if I'm being honest, is rare for that high profile fight. I usually have an idea who I'm going to end up picking, even if I'm surprised sometimes. So yeah, I like the matchup.
The other fights on the card: Corey Sandhagen versus Mario Batista. Obviously, that's a 135 fight. Awesome. Gable Steveson versus Alicia Ellison. I saw people saying, "Oh my god, they're giving Gable like the worst heavyweight on the roster." Like, yeah, that's what a 3-0 fighter making his debut should get. That's I don't say the UFC does good matchmaking often. That's the precise one. Brandon Royval versus Lanier Kavanaugh. Fire. Damian, your favorite fighter, Damian Penis, taking on Cesar Almeida. Great matchup.
Oh yeah, we'll see if Penis can hang with a decorated kickboxer.
Yeah. Ryan Gandra versus Zach Reese. Okay. Cody Durden versus O'Day Osborne, two of the most active flyweights facing each other. Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez. That should be fun. Kai Kamaka versus Luke Riley. 205. This is what's posted. I'm not saying this is probably not the order. 205 matchup. Robert Whittaker making his 205 debut against Nikita Krylov.
I mean, if that is meant to represent the bout order at all, and they've got Robert Whittaker stuck on the prelims, okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's second on the this is just. And the first fight, Tracy Cortez versus Wayne Kung. It's a good card. I'm not crazy about the main event. Yeah. I understand it'll be huge, and Conor will probably sell me to win me over come that time, come July. But yeah, and it was so smart to get Gable on a Conor card. That was really smart on UFC. So,
And however I feel about Connor, there are 24 or 26 other fighters on the card. They're probably glad that Connor's on the card with them because they're going to make a little more money. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Co-main event, Duho Choi took on Daniel Santos. Choi winning by second round TKO. Absolute banger of a fight until the finish. Talk to me about it.
Love the fight. It's how is Daniel Santos not the worst fighter in the UFC? He is a featherweight who overthrows so hard he like almost falls off his feet like a bad heavyweight. Like it's so good that he's good. And the UFC's matchmakers knew exactly what they were doing when they booked this fight. And anybody who's seen either of these guys fight even once was probably not surprised by what they got. But the first round was wild, but it went to kind of a controlled burn after that, where it's not like they threw caution completely to the wind. It was actually two pretty high level guys just testing each other's defense and durability for most of 15 minutes. I really enjoyed this fight, and it wasn't in a popcorn like shitty fight that's fun to watch sense. Like Duho Choi, he's won 3 in a row in his late 30s by becoming a fighter that I did not expect him to become.
No, like, he's awesome. This fight was awesome. I mean, Santos at first looked sensational. He was coming in, he was landing power shots, he was catching Duho Choi every time he ducked down, was really teeing off on him. And then Choi just he handled that huge wave, the big storm that came, and then Santos slowed down a little bit, and that's all Choi needed. He needed him to slow down just a tad, and then that's when Choi just started winning with clean boxing and straight shots. He stopped ducking his head, as much, and then the body shot at the end. I mean, that was awesome, and it's so smart. Guys slowing down, you kind of got on the ropes instead of head hunting like so many guys do. Throw one to the body, and I mean, yeah, that was awesome. Like such a good performance. Before that, Malcolm Wellmaker took on Juan Diaz with another upset. Wellmaker get upset again. Juan Diaz winning by second round submission. I'm gonna start with the bad. Wellmaker. I'm gonna make a statement. Buy or sell this statement. Wellmaker's a front runner.
Yep. And that's about the nicest way I can think to put it. And I'm the one who normally bristles when somebody says somebody's like a quitter. But yeah, like he wanted out once that final choke was locked in.
Yeah, it did not look good. Diaz to his credit, he had really good timing when Wellmaker was throwing a lot of body kicks, nothing big, but when he did sit on his punch and he threw like a big wild hook, Diaz just timing it, getting underneath it, just ducking on it, taking him down, and then smoking him on the ground. Got the sub. Yeah, he looked good. Now there was some controversy at the very end of the first. Wellmaker was down. He got kneed in the shoulder area, which ricocheted into his face. I saw a lot of people give DC shit because DC saying like, "How is that not illegal? Like, should at least be a point and everything." I say what you want. Like, if you're driving down the road and you swerve off the road and smash into the Jersey barrier, and that takes all your impact, but then you come back across the lane and bump my car, you still hit my car.
Yep.
So it should still be illegal. So Daniel Cormier is, he's not the most knowledgeable. It's not really his thing. But he's at least right about. I think he's at least right about this. Again, that's that's not saying it. I'm not saying that Diaz should have got disqualified or he wouldn't have won. No. But
he got a warning. The guy was like, "Yeah, you didn't hit his face directly. You didn't mean to hit his face, but you're responsible for your weapons. This is your warning." I thought the ref did fine.
I think the referee did fine too. Yeah. No. I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying like the amount of people that were like giving DC shit, saying like when DC was saying like, "Oh, it should be harsher," and I'm like, "Well, DC's right." But yeah, I actually agree. I think the referee did well in this. That referee, I don't know who he is. He's already better than Herb Dean. like way better. You know?
Yeah, I mean, he's a new guy. I've not seen him at the UFC level before. Eric McMahon. I don't even know where he's based.
Eric
Yeah.
McMahon is the man. Before that, Modestus Bukauskas got a replacement fight. He did not fight. Who was it supposed to be? Adolfo Balado, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Adolfo Balado.
Yeah, we previewed that fight. Instead, old Bellator alum coming out of nowhere, Christian Edwards stepped up, and we had a split decision for Bukauskas. Did you agree with the decision?
I mean, I agree that Bukauskas should have won.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. The fight was terrible. It was super boring. Nothing happened.
It was terrible.
And I blame both guys, but a terrible fight was helping Edwards because he was outmatched and outskilled. I think it was smart of him to slow the fight down, clinch, and just try to win a couple bursts and try to win. And he did it at least on one scorecard.
Yeah, this was not a great look for Bukauskas. And Bukauskas is someone that I had been gradually coming around on over, the past couple of years, certainly since he'd been back in the UFC this time around. But even though he got his hand raised at the end, this might be his worst performance since he's been back in the UFC. Just he was in a fight where he had definite advantages over his opponents and failed to pursue those. Like that's
yeah.
I thought we were past this.
Yeah, I give Edwards a little bit of pass himself because he had to take on short notice. And when Bukauskas was opening up, like he opened up a little bit in the second, he was landing at will. I'm like, dude, step on the gas and let's go, dude. Like,
yeah,
I understand you getting clinched and stuff, but yeah, I agree. He won the fight, but I don't think his stock went up anything. Like, I don't think it should have been a split decision. I thought it was pretty clear. I thought he had. I think it was the first 2 rounds where I was like, yeah, it was pretty clear for Bukauskas. But before that, Timmy Kwamba took on Bernardo Sopai. And hold on a second. I want to say, I didn't say this. We had a good night of picks. Like, I closed off really poorly. I lost the last 3 UFC fights.
But you were perfect until the last 3.
I was 10-0. I was starting to go, oh, shit. And I went 3-0 on my MVP picks. But overall, we had a good night. We had a very good night. But I think we had a good night. Besides like picking the right person, I think we had a lot of the way the fights were going to go down. I think it was a good night for us.
Dude, you picked Cody Brundage to win in 2026, and you were right. You could have gone 1-12 tonight, and you could have held your head high.
But one of I think one of the best picks, one of the close lines was Bernardo Sopai. Sopai won by second round submission. Watching this fight, it was somewhat close at parts, except when Sopai fought. When Sopai just did something, he smoked him.
Bernardo Sopai reminds me of Alexander Topuria. He has the individual component skills of an elite fighter.
Okay. Alex, you know what happened? You said, I heard the name Topuria, and I know you said Alexander, but for a second, my brain, like it's 1:45 in the morning, and I just watched I watched I watched, I don't know, 40 fights. I'm watching double thing. My brain went Ilya Topuria, and I was like, okay, I'm high and so by, but dude. Okay, all right.
No, he reminds me of Alexander Topuria. He is not huge, but he's a good athlete, very well conditioned, an elite set of offensive and defensive skills that he remembers about once around that he possesses.
Yeah, it was like he was being too patient, and then at the end of the first, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna shoot for a takedown." He's like, "Oh, takedown, back take, submission." Almost ended the round with a submission, and then in like the second one, I started kind of letting Kwamba do his thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, maybe I should throw a punch, right hand, clocked him, dropped him, and then grab his sub and finish it." It's like, yeah, dude. Anytime you tried something, you just fucking wrecked this guy.
Yeah.
Probably another one of our best picks. Chaos Williams take on Nikolai Veretennikov. Chaos Williams if Chaos Williams going to win, this is how he's going to win, and he did. Just absolutely connected, got close, landed a first round pick. I think we both picked. It was a consensus, close to a pick and fight. We both picked a first round pick. So I don't know what that would call it. That's not the consensus, but I guess a consensus perfect pick.
I mean, and I've had a few people ask me, over the years on DM or whatever, like, how do you predict fights? I'm not going to pretend to be the best at this, but this is a perfect example of where the outcome is obvious from what the fighters have demonstrated that they know how to do and what they actually like to do when the fight starts. Like, if you watched either of these guys fight twice, you know that Veretennikov is a Sambo guy. He wants, like, he's willing to box, but ultimately he wants takedowns from the clinch, which meant he was going to have to wade into range against a guy with arguably the fastest, heaviest hands in the entire division over and over again. Like, it had first round knockout written all over it.
Yeah, I agree. And that said, like Cass Williams is a guy I'm gonna fade going forward. There's not many guys left in the UFC he's gonna be able to just run right through and blast him. But yeah, Veretennikov is exactly that. So yeah, Lano said it was an obvious pick. The line should have been that close. And
Nope.
I'm not high on Cass Williams. So speaking of not high, our fast pass pick fight was Tuco Tokos take on Ivan Ursulin, and I think this was also a great pick to fast pass because this fight was, God, it's just extremely low level dudes fighting ugliest fight. The first
It just felt like it was like a bad UFC fight from like 2004.
Okay,
Just a couple dudes that are like, they're good at one thing and just like barely well rounded.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's just like, who's worse at the other things that they do out of these two?
Yeah. I feel like a Misha Serkinov fight. Really,
Oh
it
god,
just
I think
it,
Misha Serkinov would smoke either of these guys
okay,
now.
yeah, probably. Yeah, but I just meant like no game plan, just like throwing. Turcos had a game plan. Arslan didn't. He just was like the first one was a banger. It was actually really fun. But it wasn't like they were skilled. They're just like slugging it out. Both got hurt, and then Turcos punched. To his credit, he was trying to get a knockout in the first, punched himself out, and looked horrendous the last 10 minutes. Like shooting for takedowns and then just like not even driving at all through the hips, just like I'm gonna fall on my stomach now. Honestly, just tap out then. Just let's lay on the end, like, all right, tap out. I'm completely tired. Like save the rest of us 10 minutes.
Tokos is bad Paul Craig, and I'm saying that in a sense of good that includes Paul Craig.
Yeah. You know who's bad Paul Craig? Paul Craig. Before that, we had a fight that we did not preview. I know Tommy Gant was originally supposed to go against Trey Ogden, which would have been a really fun fight. That fight got canceled before we previewed, and then after we previewed, Artur Minioff, I apologize if I'm saying the newcomer's name wrong, stepped up on 5 days' notice, but unfortunately, he got beat in the second round. Did you look at Gant at all? Like, were you like I was done with Gant versus Ogden when it was.
Yeah, I was already familiar with Gant
Without telling me who you were going to pick, just in case that fight gets booked like next. What did you think of Gant heading in? Did you like him?
I don't think he's that hot a prospect. He's not good enough at the thing he's supposed to be good at for me.
About wrestling?
Yeah.
He's old. That's what scares me about him. What I do like him, he has a lot of length. He's got a nice jab. He looks for slicing elbows inside. He does some good work in the clinch.
Reminds me of the other tall, skinny wrestler from NC State.
Darren Caldwell.
Thank you. Yeah. Like same basic.
Yeah, not nearly as good a wrestler as Caldwell was. I mean, he was an All-American, but Caldwell was an NCAA champion.
Yeah.
But he's joined the UFC at 33. He was NC State assistant coach for a while and everything. I think I'm higher than you are. I just wish he joined the UFC like 26, not 33. It's hard to wrestle. Side note, Minov was doing good until he got frustrated because Gant was just like taking him down. He was popping back out, taking him, and I could just watch it. Like, and I think it was Felder, to his credit, was like saying like he doesn't even these takedowns, him popping up, he's just making Minov. And what's gonna happen? He's like Miniov's gonna like like concede the situation at one point, and that's gonna be the downfall. He's gonna get taken down, and he's not gonna get back up.
And it was early in the second round.
He went for a switch,
Mm-hmm.
which is hard to do in MMA. And side note, my son loves doing switches. Like he's good at it. But we're in the freestyle season, so now our team practices free. When we're live wrestling, unless you and your partner say, "Hey, we're gonna do folk style," there's Virginia Beach duels coming up, so some guys are like who go to that are doing some folk style because that's the next big one. But a lot of freestyle. Fargo's coming up, and my son loves doing switches. I'm like, you can't switch in freestyle for two reasons. One, when you switch, a lot of times you expose your, it's kind of, if you sit up straight, but you can expose your back. But two, they can lock their hands in freestyle, so it's hard to switch because they can lock your hands. And it's like in MMA, it's hard to hit a switch because they lock their hands. It's not like in folk style where you can't lock around the waist in exchange. I know I don't want to go too off, but rookie mistake by Mini F. But he took the fight on short notice. Per the rankings, the top fight, Ketlin Vieira took on Jacqueline Cavalcante. In our consensus upset pick, we both picked Ketlin Vieira. She won by unanimous decision. So this fight happened, and it was a bore fest. It was a Ketlin Vieira fight.
It was terrible. Yep.
And I'm watching the fight, and I wanted Vieira to lose simply by the fact because the first round was close and third round was close. She won the second, and she won the second easily by wrestling. And I'm like, why aren't you wrestling? Like, why didn't you wrestle in the third? And luckily for her, Jacqueline Cavalcante had no urgency to try to get a final stoppage.
Nope. To
the fact her corner told her not to. Her corner told her don't have urgency. Don't do anything stupid.
Which is weird.
Don't be too aggressive. I'm like, at worst, at best case scenario, it's 1-1. You lost the second. Just really weird. And I don't know how you feel about Cavalcante. Like she's a pretty decent striker when she lets her hands go and anything, but she's extremely limited until she learns how to do something on the ground and stop takedowns.
She just needs to. She needs to be honest with herself, like so many other bantamweight women need to. She just needs to hang out with like Eileen Perez and Norma Dumont for a month or two in camp and just be like, look, we know you came from a kickboxing background. So did we. It's cooler when you can kickbox, but just take these hoes down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Ketlin Vieira, she's been in the UFC forever. She's fought everyone in the division. It's kind of hard to matchmake her. Like, what are you doing with her?
Can we make her fight Mayura Bueno Sullivan? Just have them both go afterwards.
That's it.
Everyone leaves town.
I am not a fan of Ketlin Vieira, but she is always a tough out. Like, even her losses are close. She never gets smoked. I mean, even when she lost to Kayla Harrison, like Kayla clearly won, but she's the most competitive Kayla had in the UFC. Yeah. I'm gonna give it Jocelyn Edwards. I love Jocelyn Edwards, and it's just I'm like looking at the top of the rankings trying to find someone.
You want to get that L out of the way for Jocelyn like sooner rather than later.
I just get it over with. But yeah, it came down to it. I looked at the division, like she's like the only person, or one of the only people that she hasn't fought. Before that, Andre Petrowski took on Cody Brundage winning by second round TKO. I know it's supposed to be like a celebration, pick Cody Brundage to win, blah, blah, blah. But this had nothing to do with Cody Brundage. This has 100% to do, in my opinion. Andre Petrowski's shot. Agree or disagree?
I mean, I'm kind of waiting on his next fight to see that, but you got to worry about it at this point because the way he went down from that punch, it's easier for me to believe that he is suddenly shot than that Cody Brundage has suddenly developed elephant gun knuckles.
Yeah.
in his mid-30s for no good damn reason. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, he got smoked by Cam Rouston. I mean, Rouston's a good prospect, but Rouston put a clinic on. Before that, was it Edmund Shabazian had the best performance he's had in a long time.
No, I feel terrible saying this, but Brennan's is not. He's not going to get another win in the UFC. He's going to lose his next 3 and then
No,
get cut.
that's what I'm saying. It's about Petrowski.
Yeah.
Petrowski's shot. So
Petrowski's shot.
Yeah, Petrowski. It wasn't that long ago that he was like a borderline top 15 guy, like kind of like a little bit of a dark horse, like a tough out. He was calling out Bo Nickel and everything. It's like, dude, Bo would kick your head off now. Like you'd get knocked out bad.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing about this fight is now Cody Burgess, who's we've called to get cut from the UFC about 5 times now, probably just extended himself to get a couple more fights. Like he's got even more of a leash now.
Yeah. Oh, he's absolutely like he's getting on Zoom calls with what's his name? Sam Alvey. Like, dude, like how long can I stretch it out with the UFC without winning 2 fights in a row?
He and then like right when he lost 3 fights in a row, he's about to get cut, he'll like win by disqualification or something.
Yeah. Or just step up on 2 days notice for somebody. Yeah.
Before that, Polyana Viana took on Elise Ardeleon. Ardeleon won by 2nd round submission. We'll pause on the submission. I know you'll know the answer because you're the best at this, but Ardeleon has won 3 fights in a row. Look good. She came in the UFC scouting report we had on her, both of her had on her was very low. She's looking really good. Are you starting to believe, or is it just who she's fighting?
She's looking good in all the ways, but the way she was supposed to be looking good. I still don't understand how this woman was like, had the reputation of being steal your man, Jim Poison. Like, I don't get it at all, but she's won 3 in a row. They put some stat up on the screen, like where that places her in the bantamweight division. And it is shockingly high.
Yes.
Like there's only like 2 women in the whole division with like longer win streaks than her.
Yeah, to answer your question, like, do I believe in her? Or answer my question, I kind of believe in any female bantamweight who's on a 3-fight winning streak.
Strawweight, but yeah.
Oh, strawweight. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. Let me say this. I believe in any female who's female on a 3-fight winning streak. How about that?
Yeah.
Like you win 3 fights. She sorry by saying bad. It's 2 in the morning. Her pocket boxing looked good.
It did, like, which is good because if she's going to win fights consistently in the UFC, she needs to have that. Like, she's not terribly big for the division. She's not very fast. She's not much of an athlete, but she's super tough and she's learned to throw a couple of basic combinations with decent technique. She needs to be a pocket boxer until her opponent either gets hurt or shoots a bad takedown, and then she can kind of finish him on the ground.
All right, shout out to my boy certified MMA fan. He called Perry TKO, and I'm telling you, Max pieces of Connor. That's not really a hot take. I know you try to like make a hot take. Max pieces of Connor, like Max is gonna be. I'm sure there's a betting line. Max is gonna be a pretty. I'm guessing Max is probably a 3-1 favorite right now. I'm sure betting money will come into Connor when the casuals stop betting on it, but Max is good. Max is gonna be a big favorite. Ardeleon won by submission against Viana, who's supposed to be known for her ground game. I keep hearing about how good her submission is, and I said I wasn't sure how good her ground game is. No, I'm sure her ground game sucks. Ardeleon won by, ready for this? Capsule lock.
Yep.
That sounds like when like I'm typing and I keep getting my password wrong. I'm logging into something and I'm like, oh, where's the capsule lock button? What the hell's a capsule lock? Ben, I've been watching MMA since 1995. Have you ever seen a capsule lock before?
No, nope. I'd never heard of
I'd never heard of
a capsule lock before. And until I saw the replay, I was like, you guys are coming up with a name for something that just happened in an entanglement in guard, until I saw that Ardeleon like purposely like tucked that foot in and then kind of sat up and cranked. Like, no, that's clever. Like, I want,
I love it.
I want to take away credit, but no, that was slick, showed great positional awareness, and to do it on somebody in Viana that, as you pointed out, we keep hearing about her grappling. Love it. Max Holloway hovering between -500 and -550 right now, by the way.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's even bigger than I thought it was. But yeah, like so you said you never heard of the capsule lock. And for people who don't know, Ben trains jiu-jitsu, very highly decorated jiu-jitsu. He does train jiu-jitsu. I think he's a multiple time black belt. So if Ben doesn't know it. No, he really all joking. He does train jiu-jitsu. So I'm teasing him a little bit, but he he's got some skills over here. Before that, Luis Guerrero took on Daniel Barres. Guerrero winning by decision. Pretty incredible fight. Like this is fun. Like this is a continued. Like I love flyweights. Flyweight fights are gonna be awesome.
Yeah. This was a fun fight. I'm glad Luis Guerrero got his first UFC win because I was getting tired of calling him the best 0-1, best 0-2, best 0-3 fighter in the UFC. Having said that, and as fun as this fight was, it's hard for me to picture who Daniel Barres could beat in the UFC flyweight division right now. Like he's got big power in his hands, and I didn't see him throwing combination enough, so he's more or less going to be dependent on his opponents to have poor defense or make mistakes, for him really to do his best.
Yeah, and what I loved about Guerrero told they said it on the broadcast show that he said the way I win this fight is I'm going to force him on his back foot, and he can't win off his back foot, and that's exactly what happened when he got Barres fighting on his back foot. Guerrero was just piecing up nice shots. At one point he suplexed him, which was fun. Before that, Shauna Bannon took on Nicole. Is it Nicole or Nicole? How is it? Nicole. Okay,
it's Nicole. Okay. Yeah,
the two L's are messing me up. Cagliari. I'm messing her name up. I'm sorry. I'm bushing her name. How do I say her name?
Nicole Cagliari.
Cagliari. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm bushing. I apologize. I'm tired. Cagliari win by third round submission. Kelly moved down to strawweight, and she got a win, so not a bad move. I am worried about her cardio, though. I mean, she did you see her ab muscles? It was like, oh my god, this girl's like has a incredible flexing.
She looked unbelievably jacked. She is the new official protein snack of the Shillan and Duffy Show. I mean, holy shit.
I'm worried about the cardio, though.
Yeah, like it's like Phil Baroni. If I can't see any water or fat, like you got no fuel tank.
Yeah. So it was 1-1 heading into the third, and one power, like Bannon had all the momentum. I'm like, oh, Ben's got to call a huge, pretty big upset right out the gate. It's gonna be a great call for him. And then just a power jab by Cagliari changed everything. He landed a jab and I don't know, she broke Bannon's face, whatever. I don't know what happened. Just Bannon crumbled at that. And didn't fight off a submission too hard in the third when Cagliari locked it in. So any comments on this fight?
Nope. I mean, I took a bit of a flyer on the upset, but I still don't think Bannon is good, and Cagliari has another lease on life at 115, I guess.
All right, let's get to the fun stuff. As we've covered 13 UFC fights, and I don't know how many was that. We didn't go really in depth in the prelims, but about 11 MMA MVP MMA fights. Do we have the UFC awards?
Probably, but let's take a look.
All right, while you're looking for that, I have a very short list of dude seriouslys that if you don't want me to start reading some of them. And the reason I have a shorter list than usual, you think I'd have a bigger list with more fights, but because I was juggling two different ones, usually I get a lot of my dude seriouslys from the commentary team, but I kept switching back and forth. So I'll give you a couple of dude seriously while you look for the awards. I noticed Polyana Viana, obviously everyone knows she's very beautiful. It's just me, she continued to just get way more tattoos. Everything she was absolutely covered in tattoos. I'm like, come on, you don't put a bumper sticker on a Mercedes. What are you doing, dude? Seriously? I know some people will disagree about that. A good dude, seriously. Elise Adelian with that insane submission. Dude, seriously? Nice. Got off Instagram, she said. After Sopai absolutely blasted Timba Kawamba and was teeing off on him, bouncing his head like a basketball, DC gave Sopai credit and gave the referee credit, but he was saying like, "Oh, Kambaya was coming back." Like, what do you mean he was coming back? He got dropped and was just getting punched over and over for like 30 seconds before somebody submitted him. Like, DC, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Seriously? Errol Hawani, I actually like Errol. He's always been very nice to me. And I get he's has to like sell. He's going a little too far, but when he was talking about all the pressure was on Fritz and Scott, and I understand why it was pressure on him, but he had to prove that he's still the baddest man on the planet, and he can do that tonight. No, he cannot prove he's the baddest man on the planet by beating Felipe Lins. Like, dude, seriously, Ariel, come on. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave my last one. I bash on Ariel enough. So, do you have any dude seriously?
No.
All right. Do you have the awards?
I do. We had 2 performances of the night, which make perfect sense, and 1 fight of the night, which makes perfect sense. I am a-okay with these awards.
These are the ones you pick. All right. So there's a couple fights. I think there's like about 3 fights I think are in the running. I think the main event might have been in the running for the fight of the night. I'm not going to give it to the main event. I think the co-main event could have been in the running, and I think the flyweight fight, Gurrell and Perez, could have been in the running. I'm going to go with the co-main event. Choi and Santos is my pick for fight of the night. And as far as performances, I don't think she's going to get it, but I would give it to RD Leon. Like, getting the capsule lock, I'm giving it to her. It's the third one. I'm going to give it to Chaos Williams. First round knockout. I wanted to give it Choi another one, but I don't want to give him 2. I will go with Chaos Williams. What were the awards?
Your award for fight of the night did go to Do Ho Choi and Daniel Santos. So
cool.
That works. Cool. Your performances of the night go to Alice Ardeleon for the first ever capsule lock submission in the UFC, and to Juan Diaz for putting away Malcolm Wellmaker.
You know, I'm okay with that too. I wouldn't want chaos because first round, I usually like almost favor first round or second, but totally cool with that. I didn't even think of him. I thought Brundage could have got something too.
No, you know what? If they give Brundage or Williams an award, that worked for me. Brundage and Williams both got finishes though, and every finish gets a bonus now, so I don't feel as bad for them.
I just like guy who's been in the UFC so long, and usually the other side of the bonuses, like giving other people bonuses. It would have been nice to see Brundage get some. Let's go to the cut list. The way the cut list works, if both me and Ben have the same name on the cut list, we give the UFC permission. Did you have any? I didn't do any MVP ones. Did you have any MVP people or no?
As far as I'm concerned, MVP can cut everybody that fought and re-sign them for the next card. Like they're not a promotion.
Yeah, they're like a one-off, like every event, which is fine. Yeah. I have 4 names.
I have more than that. I joked on the preview that like every losing fighter from the prelims should probably be cut. There were a couple of upsets on the prelims and one short notice debut, so I'm not cutting everybody that lost on the prelims, but I'm cutting most of them.
Okay, so in fairness, I was doing 2 events, so I might have been slacking off my cut list like I normally do. But give me your first name.
Shauna Bannon.
I had her in my name. She's 2 and 3 in the UFC.
Yep.
And she did not look good tonight. Who else?
Daniel Perez. He's 1 and 3 in the UFC, and that's spaced out over 4 years. So he's a 37-year-old flyweight that fights once a year. Yeah,
I didn't have him on, but I think the fight was so good. But yeah, I think you're right. You convinced me. I'm adding him to my list.
Like if Gurule had lost, I would absolutely have cut him, even though I would have felt bad. So I figure turnabout is fair play.
Yeah, I agree. Right. You convinced me.
Poliana Viana is 4 and 8 in the UFC. She's not even good at the things she's supposed to be good at.
She was 4 in a row. It's time to let it go.
Like what's she for at this point?
Yeah. And what else you have?
Sorry, Andre Petrosky.
Yeah. Andre Petrosky's on my list.
I would absolutely have cut Brundage if he lost, especially if he lost like that, which is kind of what I expected to happen.
Sure.
I mean, yeah.
Sure. Who else?
I'm not cutting Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I mean, she's 5 and 1 in the UFC. No, George Tokos can go.
Sorry, that was my last name. He 1 and 3 in the UFC, and he's just terrible. So who did I say?
Nikolai Veretennikov. is 2-4 in the UFC.
Yeah, I feel like didn't he just win his last fight by stoppage? It wasn't against
Nico Price.
Yeah, you convinced me. Nico Price. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, you got me. So we're in agreement. We've cut everybody. All right, let's go to the Bulls and Bears. The Bulls and Bears is stock market rush. You want to be on the Bulls list. You do not want to be in the Bears list. We do it 3, 2, 1, like the hockey. Let's go positive. Let's go to the Bulls. Do you mind if I go first?
Go for it. Lots of Bulls.
All right. My number 3 Bull is, I'm going to go with a MVP fighter. This wasn't a big win when you look at the projection of his career and everything, but more of the introduction to a lot of people, and that's Celadine Paranasse. Like he looks sensational. Just flawless victory. Like all the things you want to see as a promoter, skill wise, scouting report. The guy's the man. My number 2, Doo Ho Choi. He's won 3 fights in a row, and I know he's obviously was out for a long time with his mandatory military duty. But technically, he hasn't lost a fight in 7 years, and he looks like he's adding skills. So I'm gonna go Doo Ho Choi, and my number 1 Bull. I'm putting 3 people into one category. People in the chat are probably going to hate me for this. But the stars of 3 stars of the night of MVP MMA, Francis Ngannou, Mike Perry, and Ronda Rousey. Obviously, Francis Ngannou. The UFC held an announcement to try to stop this guy, and he still got a walk-off first round knockout. Not that I expected a fight announcement to stop him get a first round walk off knockout, but he still did exactly what he needed to do. Mike Perry just continued this career turnaround, getting the biggest win of his career, and then Ronda Rousey. I mean, saved face, showed vintage Ronda. 17 seconds, like that it is what it is. 17 seconds. I feel like I've been transported 10 years back in time, or whatever it was, 12 years ago, whatever. What do you have?
I agree with all of yours and could easily add 3 more, but I don't need to add 3 more. I will throw out you did not mention Alisarda Leon, did you?
No, I could have.
Dude, she's won 3 in a row.
Yeah,
and she's actually looked like an improved fighter. Like,
yes, she has.
The best. Like I made fun of her as hard as anybody who signed in the UFC in the last 5 years, and she's for real. So Good on her. However he got it, Cody Brundage has another win in the UFC. Good on him. Like our constant harping on him is just over the fact that he probably doesn't belong in the UFC skills-wise. It has nothing to do with him. Always happy to see him do well, and he got the best finish of his UFC career. And I will throw out Bernardo Sopai. He lost to Vinicius Oliveira in his UFC debut. That's getting further and further in the rear view, and he's looking more and more every time out like a guy that might fight an Oliveira type for higher stakes at some point down the road. Like Bernardo Sopai is starting to look like a future contender.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They look sensational. All right, let's go to the Bears. This is the list you do not want to be on. Again, we still do it 3, 2, 1. Ben, I'm gonna let you kick this one off.
Okay. Bears, Poliana Viana. Again, she was 4-7 in the UFC or something coming into this, but you can get by for a long time, especially in thinner divisions like any women's division, light heavyweight. If you're good at something and you are game every time out, but she's not even good at what she's supposed to be good at. Like it's bad. At this point, I'm like, what is she even for? So she is a Bear. If I thought George Tokos was terrible already, and I think he's even more terrible now, does that qualify as a Bear? Like, there are plenty of dudes that have had to thread a needle to get their niche skills to work on UFC level opponents. I mean, look no further than Paul Craig, the guy we've compared him to tonight, but Tokos looks more lost and more hapless on his way there than just about anybody else I can think of in the modern era.
Yeah.
He turns from a guy who doesn't know how to fight to a guy who does know how to fight in the midst of a fight. It's wild. So he counts. And got to throw Malcolm Wellmaker out there. You know, it is possible to lose 2 in a row and not have all of your shine go, but not like this. Because it's not like he has X's and O's things that he can take back to the gym. It's like, take back to the gym. Hey, dude, try not to quit next time. Not good.
Yeah. When he was in New York City, just in November, he had so much buzz on this guy. He was the next big thing, and man, has he fallen off. So yeah, he was in my top 3. I'll give you 3 different ones, but he was one of my spots. Andre Petrowski, again, his collapse has been really quick. He was like, borderline contender to, probably fighting for his job. He probably won't get cut from the UFC, but if he does, I'm not crying. Number 2, Jacqueline Cavalcante. I mean, she was the favorite over Vieira. A big step up in competition for her. She wins that. She's, 1-2 wins away from getting a title shot. She didn't fall too far because of that division, but still, she put a little bump in the road. And my number 1 bear, I'm gonna go with the UFC. You're the worldwide leader in MMA. You were absolutely buried by the MVP card. Nobody was talking about this card. Not that you put up the biggest one, but you try getting some buzz by announcing the counter news, and it did get some traction. But generally speaking, I don't think that was wise. What I would have done is I would have had MVP have their night. I would have had, like people talk about in the morning and everything. But usually when you get to Monday, people are recapping. We do it live. A lot of people recapping shows. Errol Hawani's show is doing it. They're getting interviews and this and that. I would have dropped a big announcement. We're announcing International Fight Week, 7 p.m. I announced it Sunday night.
Yeah. I mean, they could have monopolized Ariel for all of Monday morning.
Yeah. And they could have, kind of like, all right, we're going to have them. We're not going to compete with them, but we're also going to kill their headlines after that. Instead, it killed your headline. Your headline didn't get the buzz they expected because people are talking about Ronda Rousey and that. Your biggest rival, Francis Ngannou, picked up a win. The GOAT of the organization is talking about getting out of his contract with you, with Tyron Woodley to his credit. Actually, Tyron Woodley was actually awesome. Sitting next to him, we're like, yeah, Netflix is just buy out the contract. Like, yeah, it's some legal fees. Like, Netflix, just pay for it. And I'm like, I'm sure Netflix was like, dude, what the hell, dude? There's gonna be some tampering going on with it, and then obviously the guys that the big stars you've built up over the years, Nate Diaz, Ronda Rousey, fighting for other people. Other people benefiting from your stars. Just not a good night for the UFC. So they're my ultimate losers tonight. So there you guys have it. We've actually recapped 2 cards. Ben, what was your grade? You know what? I'm gonna give me 2 grades. What was your grade for UFC? And what was your grade for MVP?
My grade for the UFC card is a D.
Okay.
It was not good on paper. It was not especially better in the cage than it was on paper. There were a couple of lousy fights. There were a couple of fights that were entertaining just because they were lousy. So yeah, I'm see no reason to push it up. And I did not watch enough of the MVP card live to give it an honest grade.
Okay.
I mean, I will say this. I found myself repeatedly wishing I were watching the MVP card instead.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and you were on duty for the UFC card, so it was tough. So I'm gonna go a little bit higher in the UFC because of the new submission we got. But still not high. I'll go like a C minus. It was fine. But what I will say with the MVP being on, like you saying you wishing you watched the MVP, I was watching both. The UFC one felt like a chore to me. I was not excited watching it. And nothing against, there were some good fights, but it was more like I'm watching it for the recap show. Nothing, I love the recap show. It's like my favorite part of the week. But I was like excited to see what's happening at MVP, and I knew, guys, I get it. There were circus fights. There has-beens. Like I get it. But I still was interested. As far as the MVP, B-. I'm gonna go B-, and to me, it's like the highest grade I could have gave him because of the talent, because of everything. But if I was a promoter and I was Jake Paul, and I'd be ecstatic after tonight.
Sure.
Like, so he's gonna have a hard time matchmaking and so forth. But people have doubted Jake Paul, and he just keeps making serious money. So I'm not saying he's a threat to the UFC, but I don't put it out. I mean, he's become a threat to boxing. So people turn into his boxing stuff as much as any big boxing match.
On Wednesday or so of this week, about $15 million in purse checks will clear, and at that point, this will be a win for MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. So, always the hardest question of the night. Who's your listener tonight?
Oh man, this was pure hardcores. I'll say Mr. C, because he actually made me like think about the current state of like the Balkans, like Serbia, Croatia, and Bosnia, whether they get along, which was not something I expected to spend any thought on tonight.
Okay.
So give it to Mr. C in the informality.
Yeah, I probably couldn't find the Balkans if you gave me a map. I'm gonna go with my man Jordan Lane. A lot of good comments, also a lot of like volume. So going, pillar to post with comments. So I'm gonna go with Jordan Lane 21 as my listener tonight. So there you guys have it. We have recapped. I keep struggling with this. It's not used. MVP MMA 1. We've all watched the inaugural one. It was history was made, and also UFC, another unbelievably historic card, UFC Vegas 117. I have to go to Twitter every single week and go like, what number is it now? And I gotta find somebody that's always tweeting and like, 117, okay. And I won't remember next week that it's 118, our next card. So, Ben, we have a week off.
I'm watching 10 different Road to UFC programs. Okay. I don't know about you, man. Are we previewing all 63 fights?
Yeah. We have a we at least have the Shillan and Duffy will not be doing a preview show for the Road to UFC cards, but we'll be back the following week with a card in China, Figueiredo versus Sung card. So make sure you check that out. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully we're not doing 2 events at the same time often, but I thought it went pretty well. So thank you guys so much. Ronda Rousey is back, but we are gone. See you later.